The story begins with a vast empty space of Texas, where a country girl who likes the quietness of it, meets a friendly stranger. That stranger smiles at her and introduces herself as Kitty Pryde, and also her little friend named Lockheed. She added, she's a friend of Eric, but the girl is wary of her because she heard in the news that the stranger is a well-known terrorist. Kitty explains herself and says she's been part of the X-Men more than half of her life. She also saved the universe at least twice in her lifetime while showing her powers to the girl. She wonders what is happening and Kitty replies it's natural because she was born a mutant. She also explains that she can pass through walls, between worlds, and sometimes even between realities. She was 13 when it all began while Eric was at her age, and after that, he was sent far away. The girl asks if Eric is okay and she replies that nothing to worry about, he is one of the folks who's impossible to be eliminated. The girl shows a picture that Eric has drawn to her, which just saddens Kitty thinking about him, saying, Eric is experiencing trouble of getting lost to himself. She says that I'm just a kid, what's this have to do with me? Kitty just tells her that she reminds him that there's still hope in the future, so if it's okay with the girl, she would like to tell a story about a man determined to save the world. A person, who called himself a man of God, his name was William Stryker. In New York City, a building stands tall called the Worldwide Evangelical Stryker Crusade. Inside it, the Reverend is reading verses from the Holy Bible and then receives a message from his secretary that the briefing tapes are ready. The content shows a team of superheroes called the X-Men, people with extraordinary superpowers, and there are 6 of them as of the moment. Cyclops with the power of force beams shooting from his eyes. Storm, capable of controlling the weather and environment at her will. Wolverine, has the unbreakable bionic claws and mutant healing powers that is able to heal any wounds, disease or poison. Colossus, who can transform all his body into invulnerable organic steel. Ariel, who can pass through any solid objects. Lastly, Nightcrawler, gifted with acrobatic skills and is a teleporter. The report added that they are under a man named Charles Xavier who are based in school for gifted youngsters at Salem Center, New York. The secretary then enters the room and preparing the Reverend for tonight's broadcast. She asks if those are the X-Men. The Reverend confirms it and says that they have plans for them to be no more. In the suburban town of Salem Center, 2 people are fighting as they come out flying through a window. A friend is trying to stop Kitty from fighting a guy. 2 friends intervenes to put an end to it. But Kitty is still in rage and wanted to hit back, as Ileana whispers to her that she is phasing, and they both know what consequence they'll get if someone finds out. Ms. Hunter, the owner of the establishment, comes out and Daniel shouts that Kitty started the fight. Still in rage, she explains it's all his fault from saying, the Stryker Crusade do good things in the society and Daniel's family is part of it. She is pissed because of what these group are doing to mutants and the 2 continues to argue back and forth. Peter reprimanded the guy to put an end to it now, as Daniel cowers away to the big man. The owner worries about Kitty's condition but she's still mad about what the guy's preaching. Ms. Hunter just tells her it's just words, but Kitty didn't accept that, and ran away from the scene. The people that are left behind can't do anything much, then the owner tells Peter to go after her just in case. The fact that Ms. Hunter is affected too by the Stryker Crusade saddens her, but all she can do is just be silent for now. After that, Peter goes to Xavier's school where he becomes a beloved student there and everyone greets him and telling him the show is about to start. Inside, Kitty is greeted by Wolverine noticing her bruise, and was asked if she won the fight. She says she didn't have the killer instinct that Wolverine has, and even worse, it's just an ordinary kid who has a big mouth. Everyone gathers at the living room to watch the TV and the reporter is now introducing Professor Charles Xavier, a renowned authority on human genetics. Beside him is Reverend William Stryker, the founder of the Stryker Crusade, which is the most influential evangelical ministries. Xavier opens up saying mutants are individuals too and should be treated with equal respect as all we do. But the Reverend believes otherwise, telling him how are we to defend common folks like ourselves against them mutant activities. Every person in the room are seriously watching as Wolverine tells them this isn't a joke, the Stryker guy definitely means business. Peter notices that they prompted to the commercial without the professors giving a chance to respond. Behind the camera, the ones who monitors the live stream is favoring to the Reverend's side to have more exposure because people tends to listen to him more being popular. But the other says too bad, his message is really scary. After that, the reporter ends the debate as Kitty says, she's in the mood now breaking things. The rest of them follows as they were mad too. Wolverine adding, that Stryker's remark about mutants not being human and has no rights under the law, then comparing us to rats that could be exterminated and legally executed. Everyone has their own opinion as well. Peter thinks that it will make everyone believes that mutants are evil simply because we exist, it is madness. After the show, Mr. Cheever apologizes to Xavier for cutting it short on the air while the professor thinks that the Reverend has a better presentation because of it. The producer not far from them says Stryker is speaking to their fears, while people think Xavier looks grim and foreboding for them. Cyclops and Storm are also nearby and was bumped by a studio crew. Little did the group know, the Reverend's group is preparing something menacing for them outside the building. In the simulation room, Illyana assigned each one of them a task to perform in order to save a family. Then she pushed a button to start the sequence and the team right away is presented with battle robots, as Colossus notices a missile heading to the family. Kitty blocked the missile that disrupted its route, saving the family behind her. Meanwhile, Wolverine is assigned to get out of the cage without slicing the bars. Nightcrawler, however, is having difficulties as well, for he cannot move the module using his teleportation. Kitty suggests that in order to be successful in this mission, they need at least to change the rules. Instead, she deals with the robot while Colossus are now blocking the missiles. Nightcrawler tries to help Wolverine to get out of the cage, but he's unable to teleport him out, so they have to wait for Peter to come to them. Colossus successfully lifted the module and moved it elsewhere, and right on time, Nightcrawler saves Wolverine out of the cage. Back to the professor, he was asked by Scott about the interview. Charles mentions about some advanced psi screen that Stryker has, preventing him from scanning his thought. He's worried that he knows a lot about the X-Men. In the middle of their conversation, the professor sensed a malice thought nearby, and warned Scott right away for an ambush. He was right, their car was hit by something, then flipping their car upside down, and Charles can't communicate with the others because of the impact. So in a desperate attempt, Scott uses his optic blast to break the pinned door and tells Aurora to create a thick fog once she is airborne for them to escape. An armed man opened fire to the team and both Cyclops and Storm got hit. After that, a lady informs the base that the mission is accomplished. X-Men now finished their simulation battle training. Everyone got a high score and they praised Wolverine of how well he did. But the man says he has better things to do than playing child's game. Then the phone rings, and as Kurt answers it, he was later shocked after hearing what the call is all about. Colossus worries and asks what is it. Nightcrawler delivers them the bad news, that Cyclops, Storm and the Professor are all dead. The next day, Kitty is having the hardest time of processing it. Then Illyana walks in to check on her. She tries to console her, but Kitty is mad. She's angry that some of her friends are now gone. She shed tears and was informed that their death was a mere car accident, but deep inside, Kitty doesn't believe it's true. Then Illyana confronted her if she likes Colossus, which Kitty denies right away, and that they're just good friends, while obviously blushing. The friend also mentions about something she saw along the ridge and says they should check it out. Then they see this electronic sensor module, aimed specifically at the mansion. Kitty uses her powers to go under the ground and rises up to the sensor to somehow break it. Illyana now asks what will they do next. Kitty replies that it is now a waiting game till someone is alerted to fix it. Subscribe to watch more videos like this. See you on the next one.